Howdy everyone, Lawson here, back in action for more February 22nd, 1:11 p.m. attraction. That's right, we're in Naruhodo's legal consultation. Whatever, Majigger. I don't remember how words are pronounced. Frankly, I think it has a Z in there. Regardless, we are on the second investigation day, and that means we must investigate everything. Because we kind of have to prove our boy to be innocent. That being said, oh, we made it back in one piece. Just, to be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There are so many carriages on the streets of London. We were very nearly flattened several times. Oh. No, I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruto-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your reverent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yes, let's do that. Is everything alright? I suppose. I still can't quite believe it. That's all. That I'm here in England, working as a lawyer. I mean, the Old Bailey, no less. Truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. When you miss your old boyfriend, but because of certain reasons he's no longer here with us, and you're like, why couldn't it have been me instead? These are all very heterosexual responses. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he really had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I've no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Sasato-san. Thank you. Well, obviously the first thing that we need to do... Present. You've been wearing that ever since we arrived in Great Britain, haven't you? Well, it's what shows that I'm a lawyer, so it seems appropriate. I'm not sure that it really means that much in this country, though, I'm afraid. I wouldn't say that. It might not be official, but it looks official. Often when the police stop me, I just show them this, and they leave me alone. You're stopped by the police? Often? Well, you know, I'm a suspicious foreigner, dressed all in black with a sword at my side. I do think it's probably the sword that's the main reason. Still, it makes me happy to see you wearing it. And the armband. Yes, I made up my mind that I'll carry them always. The symbol of who I am. And the sword. A Kuruma. Alright, I'm pretty sure that treads some light there. So let's examine things. Like a stove. Oh, nothing to do with stove? Oh, it's already got. So I'm with her, it's a shovel. Yeah, this is a shovel. I love the argument too. They are such siblings, it's pretty great. It's kind of wild too because like I don't think I particularly like noticed the gay overtones in Ace Attorney until like the Apollo Justice trilogy. You feel me? Like I understand now that they're there, right? That they're there in the first trilogy. But I just didn't have that idea in mind, you know? It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand? I know. Not only that, them finding out that he is actually a barefaced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Suzuki-san poisoning the tea. Careful your phrasing, Suzato-san. He didn't poison anything. There's more to this Mr. Shakespeare than we yet know. I'm sure of it. Mr. Shakespeare certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. What's become of him, actually? I was told that he'd be returning to the hospital ward, where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one is that? Let me see. Ah, yes. He's at St. Bartholomew's, or Bart's, as Londoners call it. We know that place, don't we? Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she has taken. Ah, yes. After Suzuki-san stabbed her in the back. Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Suzuki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes. We should probably visit the hospital later. Do you see what I'm saying? They kind of stumble to each other's sentences like they do. This is not a couple fling. This is entirely like two siblings squabbling. Kazuma Osagi. The best friend I ever had. And a lawyer with such great promise. Really saved my bacon in a horrible incident just before we left Japan. I could still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you can fit inside my truck. If you curl up small enough. Sure. No one will know. Kazuma, you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I could accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. But you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You got a natural talent for it. Believe me. I guarantee it. I never even thought about becoming a lawyer. And yet here you are. Little dum-dum. Oh, I didn't see that it took a picture already. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world. The city at the forefront of everything. It can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, one day... One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yes, he's forever in my thoughts too. You changed the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study. Of course. Yes, that's right. But... yes, I do wonder if his true intentions lie elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then. That's all. His true intentions, eh? Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions? I mean, this. His katana? I never expected to inherit the sword after Kazuma. He passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. But I have it at my side in court. I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Osagi clan. A Japanese man's sword is a soul, Renanosuke. Can't be parted from my katana. Roommate guides me. I truly believe that. Karuma. I keep getting it wrong. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much completing. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. What did he mean by something very important that I have to do? I'd hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet, I have not found a single clue. I see. Okay, then what's next for the course? So, we know that Suzuki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But, as he isn't the culprit, then obviously... Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea. But if that's the case, where did the poison get into Mr. Shanspeare's body? Sure, we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shanspeare's room that would help us solve the mystery. Well, naturally, Scotland Yard's detectives have been over the place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea leaves in the bar of soap. We run to Inspector Grayson. You'd ask him about that. Okay. We have our agenda for today. Aside from being gay, of course. So let's move it along. Yeah, let's go visit the two of them, see how they're doing. 22nd February. Sholmes is sweet. Oh, Runo! Susie! Hooray! You're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am, and you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come at a better time. I made a pot of tea. I'll set some cups. Really? Thanks, Iris. Actually, what is that foul smell? Aha! The Wanderers return at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court? Oh, for Mr. Mustache's case. That was the day, was it? I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you think you did. Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zeek's an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruto. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Oh no, you've been smoking weed. That's how weed smoke is. I hate it so much because, like, one, it gives me a headache, and two, it is faint, but absolutely smells awful. It does do that, because at first you won't smell it, and then it comes directly into your nose sockets. And I'm just like, ah, every time. It hurt. Ah, indeed. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh dear. Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Okay, I could do all that. I want to examine, though. What's this? What's this? I'm looking all around. It's curious how this enormous metal chest is being used as a coffee table. Even more curious to think that Iris's father's notes about Mr. Sholmes' case are inside it. You mustn't look in there, Runo. Those notes are a secret between Daddy and me. Mr. Sholmes isn't somehow in on the secret? Really tends to forget, you see, as soon as he solves a case, in fact. Once when he read one of my manuscripts, we had a terrible argument about it. Never have I solved such a case, he said. He was absolutely adamant. Sometimes I wonder if he's from another planet, don't you? I mean, I would argue that he is. At least for who he is. He is not of this world, you feel me? That's Mr. Sholmes, alright. All these mementos of Mr. Sholmes' past cases. You know, Miss Sasato's eyes still sparkle every time she lays eyes on them. But yours don't, do they, Runo? Well, I have read The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes now, by order of Miss Sato. But the trouble is, having seen the real thing in action, somehow the stories don't quite ring true to me. Well, he does solve the cases in the end. I suppose so. Perhaps there's more to the great detective than meets the eye. I generally do think he, like, a lot of the time, he says the wrong thing on purpose. Because he's just kind of, like, fucking with people. Like, that to me makes far more sense. All sorts of these shelves. Chemistry, appraises, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. It looks as though it might topple, and yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mr. Sholmes' brilliance. I don't get it. As it happens, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shelves myself. Just the other day, the shelf in my office finally gave way under the strain, though. It looks as though it might topple, and it does. Yes, the epitome of your disarray. I really don't get it. Because whatever Sholmes does is brilliant. This is Mr. Sholmes' famous violin. One he found being sold for a song at a pawnbrokery. What's it called? A shoddy something? Oh yes, this wonderful instrument features the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. It's a world-famous Stradivarius. What? Stradivarius, Mr. Naruto. Or... Are you even trying now? We'll come back to this another time, I think. That's my ass for trying to pronounce anything and anything. Shoot. I'd be having a hard time with the Ace Attorney puns. Meanwhile, everybody else is already at the preset of just like, oh, this is a bad pun. I'm just kind of like, what is it about? I don't understand. This enormous thing takes the entire desk, doesn't it? It's really very imposing. Ah, Hurley's great analytical scope. Yes, it can analyze anything at all, you know? I've never seen anyone actually use it. Well, it's his invention, so I don't know how to operate it. Why don't you get it to analyze its own operation, then? Bruno! You're a razor shot today, aren't you? I think so. You got a win, you got a W in court, and now he's all about it, right? Always strikes me how pretty and neatly arranged this tea set is. It's my favorite one. In fact, I think it's high time for afternoon tea. Wait here, I'll fetch the special blend that I prepared for today. Oh, Iris, you do love your tea, don't you? Look so happy at the prospect. And after you drunk it, I'll collect some experimental data, if that's all right. What is she about to make me drink? Don't worry about it. If a pretty girl offers you something to drink, you take it. That's the rules, regardless of everything. This isn't about anything else. Pretty girls just deserve to have every single thing that they ask for. That's all I'm saying, you know? That's a charming little white shelf, full of charming little bottles too. Ah yes, but don't touch any of those. They might explode. A charming shelf full of charming bottles full of charming ingredients. You know, Hurley mistakenly drank one of them the other day. What? How? I think he was lucky though. He hasn't exploded yet. Yet? Chemistry could be very hazardous occupation. It's living with Mr. Sholmes is the hazardous occupation, if you ask me. True that. True that. Ah, yes. This is where you note down your ideas, isn't it, Iris? So, what's the blackboard? What's on the blackboard today? Buck up, Bruno? What is this? Oh, I'm just playing around with ideas for the title of next month's installment. Another idea I had was the Bernal cornet. I'm really torn about which one to use. What do you think, Bruno? Anything but Buck up, Bruno. Obviously. I suppose you're right. I tell you what, I'll surprise you with it. You'll have to wait until next month and see. So many sleepless nights. Well, they're your sleepless nights. Is how it be. Here. Oh, well, we already did. We already talked to her this way. Ah! If I remember correctly, this large and imposing lump of iron is called typewriter. To think that every single one of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes blossomed from this very machine. Ah, it's such a dreamy thought. I actually had a go on it the other day. The metal bars that move when you hit the keys, they're all tangled up somehow. Made Iris angry. Mr. Naruhodo, you're ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again. My ass. Whenever someone disagrees with me, it's Susato-san angry as well. Real. It happens. It'd be that way sometimes. Okay. Please let me go back. There we go. Okay, we can converse, we have examined, and we can present. They're not new people, so they're not going to say anything different. Lord, Borvik Van Zeeks. Yes, that's an interesting, sobriquet, he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once a legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts. Sooner or later, the hapless soul will vanish from the capital. Vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or, quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit, for the time being. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hands. As it happens, Mr. Sato, that is quite impossible. Oh? Why? Naturally, the men very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever those incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued. But 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruto. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived. I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. A bitter fight in the death, coincidence with the Reaper's resurrection. And really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again. Poor Runo. I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky, or incredibly unlikable. I think it goes deeper than just me. Sense of general loathing of all Japanese people. Damn. I mean, honestly, yeah. From what I've seen, from animes, and by animes I mean Principal. Is it Principal? What is it called? It was an anime that my ex showed me. It was basically the princess and the palmer. Well, the prince and the palmer, but like it was two girls, and they were gay for each other, but they also kind of looked alike. And the point is that they were like all magical, and there was British people around, and the British people hated the Japanese people. And I'm starting to assume that this is just historically accurate evidence. It seems that way to me. Which, I mean, makes a lot of sense, honestly. A lot of people don't like new and changes and such, you know? With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as Mrs. Sato and myself, I felt even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Zeek seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed. It is an interesting observation. Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes? It was about 10 years ago that Borvik Van Zeeks chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan. No! What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? I believe I made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair. Oh, but The veil will be lifted on the events of the past, in due course. I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Mustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe. Okay, but what's the foul smell then, bud? So, what is that indescribably foul smell? Is it weed? Got weed? Ah, well. Most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea. Oh my! There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's least frequent streets. They regularly sell what purports to be a high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of dark flavor. Well, certainly unsavory behavior. So when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris. At the ready, Hurley. Let us add a drop of my chemical to a cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? It's turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed. The blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor, the better the tea is. It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Darjeeling. That's very ingenious. But what do you do with that black liquid now? Why, dispose of it naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you? There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Slumps. That's why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science and the world of criminal investigation. In the world of criminal investigation. Also, yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times. I regularly engage in this scientific experiment alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigation technique is based. This little tea indicate was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. Forensic science. So, your tea test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases, then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there. Even heard of them until recently. It's partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Slums? There are others in the field already, but I abhor the company of inferior mind. No, what I am researching is skin prints. Skin prints? A non-elixir of my own design, as is this chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whatever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Slums. As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. the spirit, Runo. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Slumps. We were thinking you come with us. You were. Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we witnessed your forensic talents and actions. Ah, yes. I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later. In all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Slums. We eagerly await your arrival. Bye, Runo. Bye, Susie. And with that being said, bye, everybody. That'll be it for today's episode. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. And I also see you all next time, okay? Sayonara. Bye-bye.